Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're journeying back in time, not to the familiar age of T-Rex or Stegosaurus, but to a fascinating and transformative era in between, the Early Cretaceous. Spanning from about 145 to 100 million years ago, this period was a time of immense geological upheaval. The supercontinent of Pangaea was tearing itself apart, creating new oceans and isolating landmasses. This continental dance, combined with a warm, humid climate and the revolutionary arrival of the first flowering plants, set the stage for an incredible explosion of new dinosaur life. So let's embark on a global tour to unearth some of the most spectacular dinosaur discoveries from this pivotal chapter in Earth's history. Our first stop is northeastern China, home to the Yixian Formation, a site so extraordinary it's often called a dinosaur Pompeii. This isn't just hyperbole. Periodic volcanic eruptions blanketed entire ecosystems in fine ash, preserving them with breathtaking detail. We're not just talking about bones here. We're talking about soft tissues, stomach contents, and most importantly, feathers. The Yixian Formation has utterly revolutionized our understanding of the link between dinosaurs and birds. It's here that we found Sinosauropteryx, a small meat-eater whose fossil clearly shows a halo of downy, hair-like feathers. This wasn't an isolated case. Even large predators were feathery. Meet Uteranus, an early relative of T-Rex, standing 9 meters long and covered in shaggy, filamentous feathers. This discovery proved that feathers weren't just for small animals. The Yixian fossils also chronicle the early evolution of flight, giving us creatures like Confuciusornis, one of the first birds to have a modern-style beak, and the famous four-winged dinosaur, Microraptor, which likely glided between the temperate forests of conifers and ferns that define this ancient lakeside environment. Now let's hop over to early Cretaceous Europe, which wasn't a solid landmass, but a scattered archipelago of islands. This island environment created unique evolutionary pressures. The most famous window into this world is the Wealden Group of Rocks in southern England, a site that has been yielding dinosaur fossils for over 200 years. In fact, one of the very first dinosaurs ever scientifically described, the iconic iguanodon, was found here. This large herbivore, famous for its distinctive thumb spike, was a huge success story, with relatives found all over the globe. The Wealden Islands were also home to smaller, nimble plant-eaters like Hypsilophodon and heavily armored ankylosaurs. But what about the predators? Prowling the riverbanks was the fearsome Baryonyx, a type of spinosaurid with a long, crocodile-like snout perfect for snatching fish and a massive hooked claw on its thumb. And recent analysis of fossil teeth from the Wealden suggests the predator guild was even more diverse, including early tyrannosauroids and the sharp-clawed raptors or dromaeosaurids. The discoveries keep coming. In Spain, paleontologists recently uncovered a massive sauropod, a long-necked giant named Gorumbateton morelensis. And back on England's Isle of Wight, a new species of iguanodontian has been identified, Istiorachis macarthuri, which sported a striking sail along its back, likely used for display. Crossing the newly forming Atlantic, we arrive in North America, a continent in transition during the early Cretaceous. The familiar giants of the Jurassic, like Allosaurus, were fading, making way for a new cast of characters. While the fossil record isn't as complete as later periods, sites like the Cloverleaf Formation in Wyoming and the Cedar Mountain Formation in Utah have given us a fascinating glimpse. One of the apex predators of this landscape was Acrocanthosaurus, a huge carnivore with a distinctive ridge of tall spines along its backbone. But perhaps the most influential discovery from this time and place is the dromaeosaurid Deinonychus. This turkey-sized but ferocious predator, with its large, sickle-shaped killing claw on each foot, completely changed how we view dinosaurs. Its discovery in the 1960s helped kickstart the dinosaur renaissance, shifting our perception from slow, lumbering lizards to active, dynamic, and intelligent animals. Of course, there were plenty of herbivores for them to hunt. The ornithopod Tenontosaurus was common, while the heavily armored Sauropelta offered a tough challenge for any predator. And while the giant Jurassic sauropods were on the decline, some colossal species like Sauroposeidon, whose name means earthquake god lizard, still roamed the land. Let's head south to the supercontinent of Gondwana, which comprised the future continents of South America, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. As it continued to fragment, its dinosaur faunas became increasingly unique. In Africa, fossil sites in Niger have revealed a particularly rich ecosystem. Here, we find another sail-backed dinosaur, the Spinosaurid Suchomimus, a close relative of Europe's baryonyx, which also hunted in the vast river systems. The plains were home to Ouranosaurus, an unusual iguanodontian that also had a prominent sail, possibly for regulating temperature or for display. But the weirdest herbivore here has to be Nigersaurus. This sauropod had a bizarre, wide, vacuum cleaner-shaped snout lined with hundreds of tiny, replaceable teeth, perfectly adapted for grazing on low-lying vegetation. On the predator front, the discovery of a nearly complete skeleton of Afrovenator in the Sahara has shed crucial light on the large carnivores of early Cretaceous Africa. Meanwhile, South America was becoming a land of titans. This is where the titanosaurs, the largest land animals of all time, first began their rise to dominance. The growing split between Africa and South America drove the evolution of these distinct and often gigantic dinosaur faunas. But modern paleontology is about more than just discovering new species. It's about understanding their lives. And discoveries from this era have given us incredible insights into dinosaur society. In Patagonia, a 190-million-year-old nesting ground of a dinosaur called Mesaurus patagonicus has revealed something amazing. The fossils, which include eggs and skeletons of all ages, from hatchling to adult, were found carefully grouped by age. This strongly suggests a complex social structure. These early long-necked dinosaurs weren't solitary creatures, they lived in herds. The adults likely worked together to protect the nesting site and raise their young as a community. This advanced social behavior, appearing so early in their evolutionary history, may have been a key ingredient in the incredible success and global proliferation of these gentle giants. The early Cretaceous was a truly pivotal chapter in the story of life on Earth. The planet itself was changing, with continents drifting apart and flowering plants appearing for the first time, forever altering global ecosystems. This dynamic world spurred the evolution of a dazzling and sometimes bizarre array of new dinosaurs. From the feathered predators of China's dinosaur Pompeii to the island-hopping giants of Europe, the transitional faunas of North America, and the rising titans of Gondwana, the fossils from this period paint a picture of a world teeming with innovation and diversity. Every new fossil unearthed is another piece of the puzzle, a tangible link to our planet's ancient past, reminding us that the story of the dinosaurs is still being written, one discovery at a time. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online.